Turning on, and it's recording.
Okay, thanks. So, welcome everybody. The first thing I wanted to start out with is to say that CustEx is getting traction and getting noticed and so on. We did some media over here. Let me see. I just had that window over here. And that exposed us to about 100,000 businesses that will eventually be our customers. But basically, we're a platform that, like this other company, Qualtrics, it was part of the huge company SAP, and it was spun out recently. It's worth about 25 billion market cap. They do not only what we do, which is consumer insights, but they do customer experience. We don't really do that. What we're focusing on, very simply, is bringing to the world an infinite data set of what people want in their existing and future products and services. So through this platform, CustEx, it'll be kind of like a utility like Google or Facebook, where you go and you get something done that's critical. So it's a critical new utility that I see in this decade, just like, bigger utilities, the browser, the search engine, so on. These are done once every 10 years and come to $1 trillion market caps. Like Google's about 2 trillion, I think. Apple's 2 trillion or more. Facebook's about 1 trillion, and so on. So we like to do $1 trillion companies rather than ones that are just, this company here, Qualtrics, which is only worth 25 billion because they have a flawed business model, which is the software business model that Silicon Valley uses, where they only have a solution that, say, Apple can use at apple.com and talk to Apple's customers. But if Apple wants to talk to Samsung's customers to convince them to buy an iPhone, they can't do it. So that's why we will have huge utility, and we will have all the customer relationships just like a Google or a Facebook does. And we're doing something completely different than what anyone else is doing. So we're not doing the software kind of a model. We're doing it as a platform. So here's our Google Analytics, spike up there, people on holidays and so on. So, but,
I'm
that's...
sorry to interrupt. Are you
Oh,
sharing
I'm
your
not
screen
sharing
right
my
now? Yeah.
I'm not sharing my screen. Okay. I'll go through this fast. So let's see. I've got to find this thing.
Should be at the bottom.
And right here. Okay. So once again, so everyone, you see that now? Adam?
Yep, looks great.
Okay. So now we basically, had this spike after the publicity, which is here, which I think I've sent to most people. And, so that just shows we're getting noticed and so on. And Qualtrics this is the company that I was just talking about. It was part of SAP, was spun out, and now it's worth 25 billion. They got the software model and so on there. And CustEx, basically, if you go to our website right now, CustEx.com, it's got these two tiles here, celebrities and politics. And basically, I'll go through these, but we're just throwing the celebrities thing. So that's basically, well, why is that there? That's so that if you want to pit one celebrity against another to compete and improve their performance or whatever they're doing or something, we just thought that would be low-hanging fruit for people that makes it irresistible. And it's in the format of like TikTok. So I'm sure most people used to TikTok because we're going after the Gen Z and so on. And then we have the politics one, which is really the things that we want to get done. Those are social issues: climate change, BLM, Stop Asian Hate, etc. And then there will be another tile eventually in second or third quarter next year, products and services. So that's like all the stuff on Amazon and so on, and AliExpress and Walmart.com. So if you go to this, if you click on this politics tile, what you'll see is this, which, is basically these screens. It just says, we want to explain to people more, exactly what we're doing, which, they can crowdsource, and we take an infinite data sample. They have an opportunity to earn money by talking to the other side, the powerful side, which is either the celebrity or the politician or political organization or the vendor. And, then they see the improved products in, 3 months or 6 months or whatever. Eventually we want this lag between improving existing products to get down to, a month or less or something like that, right? So this is basically this is how we solve all the world's problems. That's how this platform is so massive. I see this company being worth $2 trillion like Apple, and it's only going to take 5 years. It's not going to take 50 years like it did for Apple. Because this basically this is the mechanism, this is the tool that the world has been crying for to solve all the world's problems. We've mathematized it. I have a background in mathematics, and we've set it all up so the AI and machine learning and so on, all the databases that we're using, AWS Dynamo and so on, are going to be there for us to, have the kind of freeway that we can solve problems. So the social ones we have right here, we have climate change, we have USA issues, and that's basically taken from the red and blue sides of the last election. So CustEx is a completely neutral platform. I have no agenda. The platform has no agenda. We are simply like Google, that we're basically a freeway where, people can drive on it. But we have guardrails. So we're not like Twitter or Facebook where there are no guardrails, anything goes, you can have hate speech and all this kind of stuff. We're a positive platform where, to answer the question, okay, we know that there's things you don't like, there's review sections and so on to put things like that in a constructive criticism way, but we're mostly for what do you want us to do? We know what you don't want to do. We see you rioting in the streets. We see you complaining about this and that, but we want to know, what do you want? And so then we let the numbers speak. We share them with the vendors or the politicians or the celebrities, and then they have to compete for votes or market share, or they lose those things. So these issues, those are taken officially from the campaigns. Same with like BLM, the Asian hate ones, we've got to add those in there. But the celebrity one, if you go back to like the homepage, the celebrity tiles here, we've just got like placeholders right now, but basically I'm putting these, I'm taking like the top 20 Instagram, ranked people, whether celebrities or, sports figures or whatever. So we'll have these up soon. We're just going to have pictures right now. Usually we have videos, you'll see in the other sections. And basically we go to these 3 buttons where we're using this to kind of, indoctrinate people, get them used to using the platform, because who doesn't want to go to a celebrity page that's like TikTok? Eventually these will be all videos that people shoot just like on TikTok, right? So let me show you in the politics section how this works. So say we're going to, we got red and blue and so on, right? And so these are the issues that were in the 2020 campaign. And so say it's like, someone wants to say something about Russian interference and how to, maybe prevent this or something in the future, right? So this is basically how CustEx works. So think of this, you're going to see videos here. These are just like placeholders that are about the topic. And we basically, this will be replaced eventually by the trending and popular videos that have the most like upvotes for an original content. So let me show you how you like do the content. So to suggest a CustEx, which is an improvement, think of it as just an improvement to a product or service. You shoot your video on your phone, and let's pretend that I just did that. And I just go to like, downloads, and I'm just going to use one here that is small and so on. And, okay, so I've just uploaded that. So the system's taking it, and I'm just going to put gibberish in here, right? So who's responsible for this? And, Dale, are you on the call, by the way? Maybe not. But Dale's, one of our like PMs, project managers and so on, that'll help you with, tasks and all that kind of stuff. I don't really get into the details on that too much, but we basically pit one party against another. So we're going to have two fields here. So who's responsible for this? So say Russian interference. So, say this is like, let's say Biden versus Trump or whatever, people in the future. So you have, politician one, politician two, whatever. And then you say, okay, this is what I want to see as my improvement, whatever, right? And you say, I'm really, not happy with the current situation. So I'm going to give it the lowest possible rating, right? And then, this button here that you can't really see, it's a post button. And so, when you post that, it will say right here, when it's working, it worked on the development server where we're having some issues porting it over to AWS. And that's one of our, what we call blockers on our project management software that the coders are here to solve. It'll say your post is live, and then you'll be able to go to your profile, because I'm logged in here already, and you'll be able to see under your name, your name will be here, and it'll say what CustEx's alternatives and reviews that you put together. So basically, that is what we want. That's what CustEx does. So what do we then do with that? Well, that data is then collected, big data, and someone can become famous for originating a CustEx. So you could say, oh, I'm the first one that suggested this CustEx. And a CustEx can only be, it's short snippets. I think it's like 80 characters. So think like Twitter kind of thing. And it can only be one feature. So, if you want to, have feature number one, that's a CustEx for Russian interference. And then you got to have CustEx number two, and so on. And then other people will come and see that, and then they'll like it just like they do on Facebook or something. And then we have like a heart button that'll be next to it, and then you can like it. And then we take all that data, and then once it gets to a critical mass, we see, okay, we're getting a lot of data, thousands of requests for this one CustEx or whatever. Then we share it with both sides by email, and we CC them in the email so they see their colleague competitors, and that will spur them to action. And then we make it public, and it's sent out to Google and the search engines and all that kind of stuff. And we generate UPC, we generate QR codes, basically, getting rid of the barcodes, but we have QR codes. So this is going to be created every time there's a CustEx. We're probably going to incorporate blockchain with that later. There'll be tokens and all that other kind of stuff. The other thing someone can do is, like say Restaurant Aid. I can make easier examples here. So CustEx here, it might be, mayor one versus mayoral challenger in a city, right? So it could be saying, oh, I want all the restaurants to stay open at 11 p.m. They're all closing at 6 p.m. because of whatever, COVID or something. And, I want CustEx 2, I want it to have a purple awning or something like that, right? And so that's the second one. And someone could put here, well, this restaurant's closed, but this alternative down the street also has pizza or whatever. So that you can put an alternative, and it's the same kind of pop-up that I just showed before. And then review is mostly meant for, when a CustEx has been improved, then someone can come back to here and review what the situation is. And, so this gives a circular ecosystem of perfecting products, so that in 5 years, we should have all the problems of the world solved, and people are doing this on their own. So we're giving this freeway, this on-ramp for people to do this. And like I said, we also are incorporating in here some open source. When people are listing CustExes for them, if there's like hate speech or something, we'll pop up something and say this is not allowed, so on and so forth. And then, we have community monitoring, and, we'll later have AI and all that other kind of stuff there. So, that's basically how it works. Now, when someone initiates a CustEx as a user, because we call this a marketplace platform. It's kind of like this platform here, which I've belonged to for like 20 years. They basically hook up. They hook up the they hook up two sides. They hook up experts with executives that have run big companies, like I ran Western Digital, the big hard drive manufacturer. So they'll have like Fidelity mutual funds, Vanguard mutual fund, hedge funds, all these big investors want to know from an expert that's an executive, what is the data that is being put out? What does that mean? latest press releases or whatever, right? So this is what we call two-sided marketplace in Silicon Valley, which, you know, I've invested in a lot of these businesses. Here the expert is the user. So that's usually, in the case of CustEx, it's the voter or the consumer customer, or it's the fan of the celebrity, or it's basically those three. So, here's where we load it with experts. So think of this like a Uber is a two-sided marketplace. We need to load up with drivers, because if we don't have enough drivers, then we don't have saturation to have the wait time down to 5 minutes or less, something like that, right? So here it's like become a driver, and then here it's basically become a rider, right? So with our platform, it's a marketplace in that kind of sense. So that's how, like, you know, Silicon Valley and investors look at us. And what our goal is right now, the way that we operate, with coders and so on, is we've got this project management and timekeeping system with all of our blockers and issues and so on. And what I've done is I've just filtered this to be the MVP, minimum viable product issues. So we've only got, a few things, like 16 things or something, and then most of the problems will be removed. We really want the website just to be able to let people register and then post a CustEx and then see the CustEx up and see that it works and all that kind of stuff. So this is hosted by our previous company that we ended the contract with them, and so they're providing limited support right now and answering questions. Okay, where is this? Why isn't it working on AWS and all that kind of stuff, right? So we're transitioning from that, and let's see. So we've got this pitch deck also. If you ever heard about this, is like a PowerPoint presentation that's used for investors, but I also make it available to everyone in the company so that they could see like all the different things that we're doing. The Magna Carta was basically when people were able a few hundred years ago to have a voice, and it was organized and so on. So this, I say, TikTok meets Qualtrics, which is that company that I pointed out over here that does the customer experience and so on, but they only do it one company to one customer, and you can't cross sell or anything like that. So, and then Roblox is a platform, like the iPhone was a platform, hardware platform. Roblox is a platform. Salesforce is a platform. CustEx is also going to be a platform. This is going to make us huge also, where we're going to have developers, just like they write apps for the iPhone and the Android store, they're going to write CustEx apps for all the markets that we're in, that because we're basically enabling everyone to solve all the world's problems. So we provide the infrastructure for that. So we've got a lot of these. Let me see if I hide this. Okay. So we got this celebrity thing going on. We got product, service improvement, consumer to vendor, vendor to vendor, all this kind of stuff. It's called co-creation, actually. The reason why we're going to be big and we're going to take away 80% of Facebook's ad revenues in 5 years is, at Facebook, number one, the people are being advertised to without their consent. They're being spied on and all this other kind of stuff. And we don't operate that way. We basically have people, there's 3 ways to, use the platform. One is you don't register and you just look at the videos and all that kind of stuff, like TikTok, and we don't know who you are. That's fine. The second is where you list a CustEx, and then we just need to know basic information like your email and your name, and that's about it. And then there's the third, which you can give us more information, and if you want to earn cash and get paid by the celebrity or by the vendor or by the politician, then you're going to be able to consult with them. We have a consulting management platform also in there that's much like this Gerson Lerman group over here is, and so we've got that going on. It's kind of like, it's designed for people to come back every day, like a casino, where they're going to be checking whether there's projects where they can earn money with the, the vendors or the politicians or the celebrities and so on. So it's user generated content. We have this is our P&L statement that is very big. And it basically says we aim to have 26 million users at the end of the first year, up to 234 million and so on. And so the revenue year one, 1.4 billion, 28 billion. this shows in 3 years, we'll be worth like 280 billion because you usually have a 10x multiple on revenues. We have diverse number of revenue streams, like 18 here, that basically only about 40% of them or so is advertising. Facebook's is like 95%, so we've got a way better business model. And we're not trying to compete with Facebook or Twitter, because those are basically just, forums for either people to communicate, in a basic way, but there's basically no guardrails. So we're a platform. We like to say we're a platform like TikTok, but we're actually useful. We have an end goal. There is a plot, right? It's not just like mindless entertainment. We do have the celebrity section to lure people in, but that's just get them used to those 3 yellow buttons and so on, right? So read about me on LinkedIn. I'm one of the most successful, what's called angel investors. This is just below a venture capitalist. I'm also a venture capitalist. We're just getting that fund funded. It'll probably fund CustEx also. I have a partner out of Denmark, and the Novos Nordisk Corporation. It's bigger than Bill Gates Corporation. Their foundation, they're going to fund us. So you can read about me and everything here. And here's like my ranking on Crunchbase. You heard of probably Mark Cuban, the Shark Tank guy, right? He's always ranked below me because the quality of his analytics and investing, he's less successful. That's basically what it says. He's got less exits and less unicorns and all that kind of stuff. I've got 20 plus. It's growing every day. So we're in Forbes here where, let's see. So yeah, you got me here, and then you get Mark Cuban there again. Mark Benios is Salesforce.com. So most of these people are billionaires. So that's just, so my judgment is about my objective judgment about CustEx succeeding. I think it'll be, in 5 years, it'll be worth like 2 trillion. In 10 years, it'll be worth 3 trillion. I think it'll surpass Google's valuation long-term. Annapurna Company, this is someone I went to undergrad college with, so we're going to probably be on that show soon. It'll be on CNN and maybe 60 Minutes, if you heard of those networks and shows and so on. So that's how we unfairly, through our power and connections, we're going to go big time very quickly. And let's see, I wanted to show one last thing about, so when people are, we have a cat here, you might have noticed. Whenever you're doing a business, especially if it's social, you've got to be funny. And it's just beyond me why Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Snapchat at least has some ghouly looking, kind of thing there. But, you got to have a funny cat if you're on the internet, right? And you got to, we have a feed me box here that's going to work soon that, for people to donate. But that's just in the beginning. But if you go here and let me log out just to show, here is how we get data and so on, because the thing I'm trying to stress here, I know the secrets. I'm in 180 startups, and about 150 are probably still alive. And I get that many reports every month. So I have this fire hydrant of information about what's working and what's not working. So I have this unfair advantage of being able to build up to a unicorn, centacorn, and, I don't know what the name is for a $1 trillion company yet, but whatever. So if you look at these companies here, right, all big with big valuations, right? And so it shows that if you control and own the customer relationship, whether it's, Google or Facebook or whatever here, we went with the platforms here. We have people sign in with what we call single sign-on. So with Facebook, we get the most information about people without having to ask them in a big way and spy on them and so on. And they're going to want to give us their information, like I said before, because if they want to earn cash on the site, they're willing to tell us because, they want to improve the product or service or whatever. So, if you go between the personal organization things here, by the way, you'll hear a cat button here and, so on. But, that's the funny thing there. And, we have fun in all our communications, but Facebook, you get the most information, email, you get the least, and so on. So people can sign on, here, single sign on. We're also going to become, just like Facebook is a single sign-on for other websites like CustEx, we're going to be a single sign-on at like Amazon and, you know, Walmart.com and AliExpress, all these big e-commerce platforms, because we also have the domain custex.coupon, QPON, and that's a colleague of mine that that will enable like coupons and all that kind of stuff. So when you go to and sign on single sign-on at, say, Amazon, they're going to be able to see, you're going to have a 1 to 5 star customer rank, and they're going to be able to see what kind of a quality, passionate customer you are, and they're going to be able to offer you discounts on the spot based on your quality and your participation with CustEx. So that's how we kind of organize that too. You know, so we got a lot of things going with, you know, become a ubiquitous single sign-on. We will have a browser extension tool, kind of like if you see Honey or you see Capital One, and, you know, Amazon has one too. You know, whenever you're, whether it's an e-commerce topic, whether it's a social topic, you know, this is just a whole new class of thing that's being, you know, brought on Web 3.0 by CustEx. So that is, that I think that's where we can kind of stop, Adam. And then I'll open up to, you know, a few questions from, you know, general people in the audience, not Adam's group yet, but anyone that's a coder that, you know, has questions. You know, I think I'm a pretty good communicator.